portfolio manager on the natural resource strategies at KBI Global Investors, lead portfolio manager on the recently launched circular economy strategy, and also a portfolio manager on the KBI Global Water strategy. So I joined KBI directly from college, so 18 years ago at this point. I worked on the operations side of the business for the first half of that, and then in 2014 I moved into the asset management department, first as an equity research analyst and more recently promoted to portfolio manager. So if you think about the traditional linear economy, think about a take, make, waste dynamic. So you take resources, you make products, and then you discard those products to waste, often before the end of their useful life. The transition to a circular economy looks at moving that model towards a reduce, reuse, recycle type model. So we reduce the consumption of natural resources, we reuse those natural resources and products where possible, and we recycle, preferably to the highest standard possible. The benefit of that shift is it's more efficient, costs are reduced, obviously very important in the current inflationary world in which we live, and most importantly of all, there's environmental benefits, so not least in the area of carbon emissions associated with the reduced carbon emissions because of this more efficient economic model. Well, when you think about the current linear economy, it's highly inefficient in many regards. We're consuming more resources than the earth can naturally sustain, and that as a result means that we are emitting more carbon than we need to into the atmosphere. So by reducing the consumption of natural resources and increasing the longevity of the products that we make and use, we will obviously decrease the amount of carbon that we're emitting into the atmosphere. That in turn is leading to governments funding the investment in the circular economy. So whether that be in the areas of waste management, whether it be in the areas of recycling, whether it be in the area of the reuse of products, etc. There's massive government funding being put behind the circular economy at a global level, and that in turn will lead to governments meeting or helping them to meet their targets in relation to net zero. Yeah, so China was actually one of the first countries globally to put some policies in place in relation to the circular economy. So if you go back to the early 2000s, you will see that China was implementing strategies and policies in that area. Fast forward to today, we've seen massive infrastructure investments in particular in relation to the circular economy in many areas of Asia, including China, not least in the area of waste to energy. So this is reducing the amount of waste that is going to landfill and increasing the amount of energy or other products that can be then sustained from that waste. So areas where we're investing, where we're seeing the most advancement towards a circular economy are in areas such as sustainable packaging. So here we have two types of exposure. Aluminium-based beverage can packaging. So aluminium is one of the most recycled materials globally. About 70% of aluminium is actually recycled. Also within the sustainable packaging segment of the portfolio, we have paper-based packaging. So these are companies producing packaging for the likes of e-commerce end markets, and these materials are not only from recycled materials, but they're also recyclable later in the economic cycle. In terms of specific exposures, Within Asia, for example, we would be investing in companies that operate a rental type business model. This type of a model allows for the reuse of products where they have not reached their end of life. So it's a highly efficient model which is not used in a widespread manner globally, but is very much part of the economic model within certain Asian countries. For example, Korea, Thailand, Malaysia. So if you think about an everyday water purifier that would be used in a country where the input water is not drinkable, this is an everyday appliance that would sit on your worktop, will purify the water so that it becomes drinkable. And many companies within that part of the world would actually operate on a rental model whereby you rent this appliance, you pay a monthly fee, and for that fee you get the use of the appliance and the maintenance of the appliance. So currently at a global level, we estimate that about 9% of the total global economy is circular in the form of a closed loop circular economy. So if you were to take the view that we need to get that to at least 50 to 60%, the opportunity set here is very meaningful.